In the last class, we started with journey of instruction set, where we could understand some basic instructions like move instruction, add instruction, sub, rsb instructions. As such, uh, once again today we'll continue with the instruction, few more instruction set, and we will try to understand the different instruction set of Cortex M3 processor, followed by we'll also try to see how it works practically. I hope you all have downloaded a Keel Microvision 4 or Keel Microvision 5 version, and hope you also the trying it out parallelly. If you try to do parallelly, it's well and good. If not, at least later part of the class, you please go to Key, Google it as a Keel Microvision 4 or 5 version. Download it. It is freely available software, and download it and start writing a simple code. Try to understand the instructions, how it works. Okay. Now I'll just start sharing my screen. Last class we started with barrel shifter, where we understood the barrel shifter, how it the working of barrel shifter, and the different instructions, uh, how the lsl can be used with respect to the move instruction and add instructions, and we also saw the output of this. So till here we did it in the last class. Now uh, today we'll start with fresh instructions. Before moving to the next instruction, these are the different shift instructions, that is LSR, LSL, LSR. So one is LSL. It is already we have saw in with two different examples. So this is X is the value, and Y is nothing but by what value you have to shift, whether it is shift by 1 or shift by 2, and whether to be shifted left or right, that is going to be given by logical shift left or logical shift right. And ASR, it is nothing but arithmetic right shift. I hope you remember the arithmetic shift right with respect to your Verilog programming. The same thing appears true even in this particular case as well. And ROR and RRX. So in case of RRX, that is rotate right extended. So what is the difference between rotate right and rotate right extended? Here in rotate right, when I shift it right side, it just shift without considering the carry flag. If I want to consider the carry flag and then once again if I want to rotate, then I will be using RRX instructions. Okay, just write a simple program. What you have done, what we have done in previous class, these instruction. Use these instructions and change from LSL to LSR and go for ROR and RRX. Okay. Now we'll move to the next instructions, that is logical instructions. These are the different instructions that comes under the logical instruction, but once again these come under your data processing instruction itself. And yes, obviously it's a logical bitwise AND operation. So make sure that the logical and bitwise operation and the normal logical AND operation. If I perform 3 ANDed with 2, this is what we call it as normal logical AND operation, where the value of the such output will be a single bit, either true or false. Now this is one case where logical bitwise operation, so which means that each bit is going to be ANDed. If there are two 32-bit values, one is considered to be Rn, the data is present to be in one of the register, and another, the what is the meaning of n? N may be immediate data or even the another register. So Rn consisting of 32-bit ANDed with your 32-bit immediate data or 32-bit data that is present in any other register. It performs the AND operation, then the resultant is going to be stored in your destination register. Similarly, the same case is true with OR, and EOR stands for XOR operation. Now one more, the peculiar kind of logical and instruction in this is BIC. It is logical bit clear. It is nothing but it performs two operations. One is it performs and the negation of the second value. Either the second value may be an immediate value or the data that is present in the register. That particular data will going to be not of that operation, and then it performs the AND operations. So now I don't go with the practical approach of AND, OR and EOR. You just try it on yourself. I will go with I'll take you to the instruction how BIC works with a simple example, and we'll see in a microvision keel how the value or how the output varies. So let me consider a simple example here. So BIC, which carries out the logical bit clear operation, I have a 232-bit number in R1 and R2 respectively. Right now I am performing the bit clear operation, logical bit clear operation between R1 and R2. What is the operation that is going to be performed here? Not of R2 is ANDed with R1. Just check out and what could be the result. Okay, so I'll try to take up the same example in a Keel Microvision. So now the same example, have taken it on Keel. So one is R1 consisting of F and R2 consisting of phi. So let me run this program. So okay, now the program can have no errors or warnings as such. So let me run this program. Now try to observe the status flag. See here, right now the status flag, there is no negative 0 carry as such, and we'll move for step by step execution in this. R1 we got F, and okay, sorry, I could not build this program. Let me come back once again. So previous data it is taking. So translate build. So unless you build, the program will not compile, because earlier I had a different instructions and I executed a different program. So it was taking the same data. That's why step by step execution will help you to understand your the, the instruction set, the working of instruction set. Now, okay, you got R1 F and R2 5. Okay, see the output, how the output varies. R0 equal to, yeah, you are getting A. What's happening here? So it's the same thing at what we performed here. So one is perform logical AND operation, then negate the output. That's it. So it's what the output that we are getting here. So R naught equal to R1 AND operation followed by NOT operation of art. Is it clear? So R naught equal to A we are getting. So this is how the bit clear operation works. So why we use this bit clear operation? So this particular instruction is useful when we want to clear the status bits. Say for example, I will read the status flag, which is the instruction that we use, that is MSR or MRS instructions. I read the status flag if I want to clear the flag register. So then I will be using BIC instruction to clear the flag, status flag, right? Yes, as we also know that the importance of yes, suffix yes, even for BIC instruction, it is possible to use suffix yes, which means that BIC yes is also a valid instruction. These instruction can be used along with the barrel shift as a second operand, as we already saw this in arithmetic instructions. The way we use it LSL or LSR, in the same way we can also use BIC followed by some operation, and again you can go for using the barrel shift instructions. So I hereby inform you people to go with the rest of the instructions. Try to write a program and the same data you consider, and just execute the program by changing the instructions like AND, OR, ORR and EOR instruction. Okay, perform them and try to see how the output varies. Okay, now coming to the next instruction set, once again, which is a part of data processing, because mainly it works with the data. One is compare negated CMN and another one is CMP, very important instructions. Most of the time we use this particular instructions for programming purpose, because whenever we go for loop in your C programming, so we apply for, we try to give the initialize the value, then we check the condition whether particular thing is reached or not, and then we based upon that either we go for decrementing or incrementing the initialized value, right? So this is how the for loop works. Okay, now if I want to check whether that particular loop has been completed or not, then what could be the equivalent instruction? Definitely the equivalent instruction in assembly level language is compare. So most of the time when you are trying to write a looping structure, either it is maybe if or for loop, or until the condition true, if you want to execute something else, then always we will be using the compare instructions. Now this is one, CMP is one very important instruction, and TEQ and TST. The TEQ test whether the two 32-bit values are equal or not. Similarly, it tests the bits of 32-bit value TST instruction. It is nothing but it performs AND operation between your two of the inputs. Wherein what is the operation that is going to be performed here if I want to perform equal or not? And obviously it is XOR operations, because when you perform XOR operation, so just write the truth table, you will understand it here. So these are the two. If I perform the XOR operation, then the output is what? 1. If any one of the input is different, then the output is going to be logic 0. If both the input are 1, then once again it is 1. So hence XOR gate we also used to call it as an equality detector, wherein the two inputs are equal or not. That's what we are trying to check using the XOR operation. Here to perform XOR operation, TEQ used, but what is the difference between EOR and TEQ? Because right now we saw that EOR is the one instruction which performs the exclusive OR operation. But what is the difference between these two? Here, in all of the comparison instructions, only flag is going to be varied, not a destination register. We don't perform any operation with respect to destination register. We perform only with respect to comparison is done with respect to two input data, considering one in register and another one may be register or maybe immediate data. So that's why only flags are affected when we use compare instructions. That is the difference between EOR and TEQ and even TST, because we have a logical AND for performing the AND operation, but still here AND operation, it performs the AND operation, but based upon the AND operation it sets the flag. Which are the flag? Maybe a N flag or 0 flag or carry flag or overflow flag. These are the four important flags. Based upon these flag condition we performs the rest of the operations. Say for example, if I want to decrement the for loop, I want to check whether my I is reached 0 or not. So once I perform this operation, I go on comparing the I, and at some point of time it becomes equal, then 0 flag is highlighted, it becomes 1. Right? So this is how I try to go for using the for loop. Based on the flag condition, I take the decision making. Decision making is performed based upon the uh, carry flag, or based upon the status flag. Sorry. Now I'll just show you with respect to CMP instructions, wherein how compare instruction is used in programming. then how comparison instructions vary the flag conditions based upon your input. Okay, this part we'll see. And again, as usual, because if I go on in explaining each one of them, then it takes more time, where we could not able to cover up the syllabus in time. It doesn't mean that I'm skipping. If you have any doubts, make sure that feel free that you can ask me. I'll just show you through the programming itself. Just I'll take a different set of examples with respect to CMP instruction. Just go through here. Now I have chosen two data of same inputs. Both the inputs are same. Basically, what is the CMP instruction performs internally? It performs, CMP performs subtraction operation. Subtraction between these two. Now I can, using this two instruction, I can see that whether R1 and R2 are equal, or R1 is greater than R2, or R1 is less than R2. These are the three different operations I will come to know with respect to this compare instructions. Assume if you are writing C program, and how the C program would be if you want to compare two numbers, right? You say that if R1 is equal to R2, then we say that printf both the numbers are equal, and we compare this and we compare this. Directly we have this ready-made food for us. But how these equal to and greater than and less than are going to be understood by the processor? It is because of compare instruction, because compare instruction inside ALU, it will be performing these two operations, R1 minus R2. What happens here? If both are equal, then my output would have been 0. Now based upon this, I just go for changing my flag status. Here I will make my 0 flag to go high. That's it. So this is how the inside a processor is going to perform the operation, and it try to see that whether two datas are equal or not, because it will be using. So when I use this, it is nothing but internally I am trying to perform a subtraction operation, and later point of time there will be a flag status equal to 1. Then I am going to get a printf statement stating that both the inputs are equal, right? So here, so this is the output updates the flag status flag and discard the content of register. See here, there is no one more register here. If you see previous instructions, say for example add or add instruction, taking add instruction, I must specify the destination register, because R1 and R2 are getting added and the resultant is going to be stored in R0, or even the same is true with respect to subtraction instruction. R1 and R2 are subtraction, the resultant must be stored in R0. Here we are not bothering about the resultant operation. We are bothering about a status flag, whether the flag content is high or not. That's it. So that's why we discard the content of the register. We don't worry about the output, or after the operation what output we are going to get. Okay, even after the operation R1 and R2 content remains same, but only output going to be varied with respect to status flag. So we'll see this with respect to practically in a keel, and we'll try to understand in much clear way. So I'll change this input to F, the second input. So now I'm trying to use the compare instruction here. So I should not use any destination register, because it is only operating with respect to only two registers or immediate data. I can also use an immediate data like this, right? So I can also use this immediate data by taking immediate data, or else you can put the data in register and you can perform. So build this program and check for syntactical errors. No errors. Run the program. So we are not writing any program. I am giving you the explanation of the each instructions and how it behaves. Later on, we using all these instructions, we try to develop some few programs for some mathematical expression, maybe a quadratic equation, or maybe y is equal to mx plus c kind of thing, and then later on we'll see how a program has to be written. Okay. Now, right now, look, observe the status flag, all or zero. Now just run the program here. Go for step-by-step execution. Always, it is preferred to go for step-by-step execution for a learning stage. Now, we received R1 and R2 two immediate two datas. Now it performs. Now look at R1 and R2. It remains same, but only the content of flag register will going to be varied. Now see here, zero flag is high and carry flag is high, right? So if zero flag is high, what does it indicates when I perform compare instruction? It indicates that two inputs are equal. Now what if the case? Now I'll just come back to the presentation. What if this is the case? What will be the output? Where the first register contain 15, but this is more than that or not. Here, by looking into this data, R1 is greater than R2 clearly, right? I'm using CMP R1 and R2. Now, how the output status flag is going to be changed? What could be your out, uh, prediction about the output? Just let me know in chat window which flag is going to be varied and how it indicates. Any answers? I am performing compare instruction. Compare instruction means compare R1 and R2. Here R1 is greater than R2. Now how do I come to know that? Sorry, not R1 is greater than R2. R2 is greater than or R1 is less than R2. How do I come to know about this? By means of which flag? Negative. Good. Abhishek. Why zero flag is zero? Zero flag is zero, correct. Why carry flag is 1 here? So when I perform that, I will going to get negative number, right? Here, because basically the operation behind the compare, you must remember the basically the operation behind this is a subtraction. After performing subtraction, I must get a negative number here. So since it will not give me the output in terms of or not output ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, it will not give me the output. It only alters the status flag stating that n equal to 1. That's it. All right. So we'll check this output. I'll change the input. That's it here. So I'll keep my first input as it is. I'll change the second input to F. Save it. go for debug. Okay, let me run. Look at the value of n now. We got both R1 and R2. Observe carefully about n value. So n is 1. So when n is 1, 0 flag is 0. 0 flag is not highlighted, or carry flag is also not highlighted. Simple subtraction. After subtraction, I am getting a negative number. What does it mean? R1 minus R2, it is going to be performed. Once R1 minus R2 is performed, then obviously, so R1 minus R2 is going to be performed. Obviously, I should get a negative number. So this negative number is going to be highlighted with another flag, that is n. That's it. It just make the flag status to 1. So this is how it performs. So this indicates that R1 is less than R2. That's it. Now what could be the output for this particular plot? Obviously, by looking to this, R1 is greater than R2. R1 is greater than R2. But how do you identify this? Okay, let me check and let me write a understand this through directly in Keel. So I'll change this to F. I'll change this to 0. So now obviously I know that R1 and R1 is bigger number than the R2, but how do I come to know through the processor? Which mean by means of which flag? Okay, look at the status flag register. Okay, only carry flag is high. So what does it mean? When you get a carry, when you perform a subtraction operation, if you get a carry, then that particular point indicates that if z equal to 1, number is negative, right? If n equal to 1, sorry, if z equal to 1, if z equal to 1, number is equal. If n equal to 1, number is negative. If c equal to 1, number is greater. That's it. I mean, here n equal to 1 is indicates that number is small. Number is small. Number is equal, number is small, number is greater. So these are the flag status that is going to be varied when we use compare instructions. So only carry flag is going to be high. So this indicates the first number is bigger than the second. So I may ask you to write a program wherein you need to store some data in your database, that is in a memory. You need to read the data from the memory and check whether the two datas are equal or more than less than or greater than. Only thing is you need to understand how to load the data from the memory. That particular part we will study it in the memory based instructions. Load, store, we have a separate instructions. Okay, so that we will discuss later point of time, and then we'll come with the same kind of examples. Going to next part. multiply instructions. The instructions that are associated with multiply are MLA. It's not a member of Legislative Assembly. It is multiple and accumulate. ML stands for multiply, A stands for accumulate. And MUL is the simple and straightforward instructions, multiply instructions. So multiply and accumulate, here this is one of the very important instruction wherein you have a frequent multiplication then followed by the addition. One of the best example is your convolution, wherein you try to perform multiplication followed by addition, right? So this is how a summation of x and a flip version of the second input. So wherein you perform multiplication, then that particular operation should be stored. Then once again, a next operation should be added with a previous product, right? So this operation, whenever if you want to perform a convolution operation in assembly level programming, then you have a multiply and accumulate instruction. This is one of the most important part in Cortex M3, which reduces your the calculation time. It increases the computation speed, as it itself contains a multiply accumulator unit. There is a separate hardware, as if like a multiplier hardware, just like a ALU, just like a ALU. There is equivalent hardware called MAC unit. MAC stands for multiply and accumulate. So this multiply and accumulate are highly needed in most of the digital signal processing units, because you take a DFT, you take a convolution operation, or you take a filtering operations. All these operations, behind these operations, the mathematics behind it is just a multiply add operations. So hence there is a dedicated unit in a DSP processors. DSP processor I'm talking about, which contains a MAC unit, multiply and accumulate unit. So in order to have this multiply and accumulator unit, MAC unit, so there is a equivalent instructions to perform, that is MLA instruction. Okay. Then, and another one is normal multiplications, which performs 232-bit operations. Now what happens if the data is highest to 32-bit itself? I have another instruction called unsigned long multiplication. Unsigned multiply accumulate long, MLA. Unsigned multiplication long. What does it mean? This clearly performs a multiplication operation of two 32-bit data, and if the data exceeds 32-bit, that particular data is going to be stored in two registers. I can use simultaneously two registers. See here, I perform R1 into R2. I save this output in R3. Okay, what is the size of this register? This is also 32. This is also 32. This is also 32. Okay. Now if the two input itself 32 and 32 bit, that is F highest value, then obviously when you see the output, it will be greater than 32 bit. So maybe a 232 bit data give me a 64 bit of output. It is also possible for me to store two the 32-bit data in the form of 64-bit data in the form of 32-bit data itself. That is, I club two registers. That is, RD LO0, RD high, low and high, which means that if the output after multiplication operation, the output is 64 bit, then lower 32 bit data is going to be stored in R3 and upper 32 bit is going to be stored in R4. That is what the meaning here. Unsigned multiply long. So sometimes you will be using long int and long float. What does it mean? Basically, when you declare int in a C programming, it allocates 4 byte of data, right? Okay. Now, if you perform two 4 bytes of data multiplication, then the output int is only 4 byte. If you write only int, say for example, this is I, this is j and k. What is k? K is equal to I into j. I is 4 byte, a bigger, take that highest value. J is also 4 byte highest value. Then once you go with this, then you need 8 byte of data to store. But ultimately k, if you declare k as only int, it will store only 4 byte of data, and rest of the 4 byte of data is going to be truncated. In such cases, what we do, we go for declaring that as a long int. Similarly, if you want to perform two 32-bit values, highest values multiplication, the output may be more than greater than 32-bit. So I can store that 32-bit more greater than 32-bit because my register capacity itself only 32-bit. So what we do, I take the help of another register to store a higher bit of data. So that's what that can be done using UMAL. It is unsigned, wherein unsigned stands for positive, signed stands for a number with a negative numbers, negative number multiplication. That's it. The same thing is true with respect to multiply and accumulate also. Okay. So the multiply instructions multiply the content of a pair of register, and depending upon the instruction, accumulate results in whether within another register. The long multiply accumulates onto a pair of register representing a 64-bit of value, and the final result is placed in a destination register or a pair of registers. Okay. So let us stop our explanation here. In the next class, I'll take up an example on multiplication. Then we'll go with the next further instructions. Almost we are end of the data processing instruction. This is the only last instruction that we have left, and we have two more instructions like division. By next class, I will finish this, and I will also move to the branch instructions. Branch instructions are very interesting instructions. Literally, you will write a C programming, and then I'll make you to have on your own. You will try to write it in assembly level language. If you perform this, then you are